Ladies, gentlemen, spooky boys, spooky babes, it's your boy. The Sephiroth of South Central, the deity of Decibel, Rob Zombie's stepbrother through marriage, Will Smith and Ozzy Osbourne's illegitimate love child, the fresh prince of darkness, peep the crown, Kelvin Kaoz. And today we're going to be talking to you about spirituality, or what you think is spirituality, and why you have much further to go than you originally thought. And we're going to talk to you about how to get where you need to go, featuring my buddy Travis Magus. And yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. So he is now arrived. Let me add him right quick. Yeah, so welcome to the Chaos Conversation. My man.
Greetings.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Thank you for asking. So I
Can
want
you hear me all right?
Yes, you sound very clear. Okay, let me make sure the crown's in the picture. People don't know that I'm wearing a leather crown.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to say thank you very much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate you.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so if you could introduce yourself to my followers. This Alternative Chaos is the home of the spookiest people of color.
Yeah, so hello. My name is Travis Magus. I am a full-time occultist and occult researcher. I spend all my day studying occult stuff all the way to the origins and how they relate up to present day. And I think it's a really awesome thing to help other people understand these same things if they're interested. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we were talking when we first met about our you were formerly a musician, correct?
Yes.
And
Um,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, yeah. I did a lot of producing as far as hip hop stuff. I was also in a band. I was vocalist and keyboardist for a hardcore screamo type of band.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So it's funny because I ended up getting into the occult through my study of classical music.
Hmm.
Not on purpose, because I went to a Catholic school, and as you know, if you've ever studied Bach or any of the motets, they'll make you, it's all liturgical. So it's like Jesus, 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 Trinity, Trinity, Trinity.
Yeah.
All right. So I had to read the Bible, and I was like, and I didn't, I wasn't like a lot of Black people where they grew up, reading the Bible and they were in the church and then they like hated it. My mom is a Christian person, but she does not press it on me at all. So
Hmm.
I just grew up not really understanding, like, why do people go to church and pass out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming across the occult through a Harry Houdini biography book, because
Hmm.
they accused Aleister Crowley of assassinating him via magic.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, supposedly they put a curse on him, and when he gets punched in the gut, that is what ruptures his appendix.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know what the belief of this is. I don't know. Some people believe it, some people don't. I do, because I just think it's funnier, and it's more fantastical for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up getting into it, and since then I've really this too. I've gotten to meet a really awesome group of people who want to know more, and you're like the biggest person that I've seen online, a person of color that does this. And I saw you, I was like, oh my God, like this guy, he's doing the thing. That's so cool. So how did you get into it?
Oh man. Um, I guess like you, it started with the church. You know, I mean, I've always been curious. I've always been a seeker. Just the way my brain is wired, I have to know. I can't just sit with a reason that somebody gives me. I've got to find out. And I mean, I just have early memories of being in the church. You know, my grandma used to make us get on that church bus every Wednesday, every Sunday for Sunday school. And I just have all these questions, you know, about the dinosaurs, about the Greek and the Roman gods. You know, what does this mean? What does that mean? And they'd always seem to slap me with some okey doke answer that
Oh
was
yeah,
not good enough. So, I
totally.
mean, as I got older and the internet finally came out, I started looking. Yeah. Because, you know, even the school library is limited in what it has. But I
Yeah,
just started searching and searching, and damn, that journey never stopped. You know, in my metal and rock days, I got into Marilyn Manson and Slipknot. And
totally.
of course, you're going to see occult imagery there. So, I mean, I became a little obsessed with Marilyn Manson. So I bought all his music and his autobiography. And in there, he talked about the Necronomicon and the Tetragrammaton and the Church of
All the cool
Satan. And
stuff.
I was curious, so I went to buy all those books. And that literally started my occult book buying spree. Like, it never stopped. I'm always buying occult books. And thankfully, I read them too, unlike most people.
That's the most important part. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So now that we have some background for all you posers in here, so the goal of this whole idea is like, so I've met a lot of people like us, you know, who will start their spiritual journey like, you know, a Christian or, you know, or Muslim or Jewish, whatever, and then like you said, these answers are not enough. Like for me, when I
Right.
first heard the word Nephilim, I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Right. And I asked the pastor, I was like, what's this mean? And he's like, oh, that's not real. And I was like, wait a second. Like, you
It's
said
in the
Jesus
Bible.
walked across the water. That's not real. I mean, like, I never seen a dude do that. And he's like, well, you
Yikes.
know, angels, half men, they don't exist. And I'm like, okay.
But
Um,
it's in the Bible. So how are
literally,
we going to
right?
say a part is not real and a part is real? I
Yeah,
got mine
so
ready.
right. He's like, I'm already ready. And I actually like the Bible as far as a place of reference and the stories that it has, I think relate to a lot of other um a lot of other lore that I have read. And I feel like everything just kind of ties in together, to be honest. Like,
Yes.
yeah, everything
Yes.
is all valuable to me. Um but as far as posing, so we were talking about a lot of people, they leave their Christian or whatever their home religion, and then they say, okay, I'm a spiritual person. But a lot of
Ooh.
times they're doing the exact same thing they were doing before. They just don't pray to Jesus.
Yeah, the mindset hasn't shifted. The symbols have changed, but the context, the contextual relationship is still there.
Right. So let's get into that. Like, how does one get away from their spiritual posing? I had my own epiphany about it, and mine was pretty much noticing when I was replacing a thing with a thing, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how it helped me. And then I realized I had to replace the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
with a whole new thing, and I was like, this is hard. I don't like this.
Right. And most people stop there if they even get that far. This is hard. I don't like this. Let me go back.
Yes. And I was like, there is no going back now. I knew there was no going back. I was like, there's only going further. Like I said, I've gotten the opportunity to, you know, talk to people like you and the Spirit Shrink and this guy, Madman, Maverick. There's like a lot of really cool people, you know, Bobby Hemmett, you know,
Yeah.
all these folks. So go into like, what are some of the hangups that people end up having as soon as they come out of their spiritual shell, if you will?
Yeah. Great topic. I think that, well, I know that one of the main things is if people don't have an understanding of a thing, it will be abused by default. So when people, they never had a true understanding of how their own spiritual system worked in the first place. So when they get here, they take that same misunderstanding and fuck it up some more. A great analogy I thought of in the shower just now was about cultural appropriation, right? What is a cultural appropriation? That's when we have a bunch of people adapt and adopt a style and mannerisms and the culture of a people who isn't them. So just imagine, let's just imagine the scenario. Say black people went extinct, but the culture remained. So now you've got a nation full of suburban white kids who are also, you know, self-isolating, who keep playing the music, dressing in the fashion, saying nigger all the time, and they're living out that fantasy of being a black person, but there's no black person there to check them. So in this world, the one that can act the most black is king, right? But even in truth, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. This is exactly what we have going on in this spiritual community. We've got a bunch of people who know how to perform, but haven't really touched the essence of this thing. And like I said, he who can perform the best is the king in this nation.
That is true.
The big thing to understand here is, how do you demonstrate spiritual power in a medium like online, you know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? How do you really demonstrate spiritual power? Is it by how many demons you can name? Is it by how many spells that you can talk about? How many crystals you got? Is that what makes you powerful and spiritual on the internet? I would say that it. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
That is exactly the question I was going to ask you, because even as a practitioner, it's funny, when I started my journey like full on into it, I want to say it was about a year and a half ago, is when I finally said, okay, I'm going to devote much more time to this, because it's been calling me pretty much my entire life. And I've been ignoring it because, you know, I was like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole and be there by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, by yourself, you know what I mean? Like you are buying yourself.
Right. And the beautiful thing is, that's where you're led to as you really go up these stages on this journey. You find that there is no one else.
Yes.
Now, I know that sounds kooky and crazy, but think about it.
What you mean. Yeah.
You were born here by yourself. You go through everything by yourself, and you die by yourself. Even when we have sex with another person, you never really touch them. There's all kind of mucous membranes and fluids, and there's space between the atoms. This is all stimulation that's going on in your brain.
Yeah.
You've always been by yourself.
Yes. Exactly. So when I found that out, that's when I was like, okay, well, it doesn't matter then. I'm just going to dive in there, because again, knowing, like, I want to know. I also, I have the tendency to want to be correct. That is my thing.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah, one of my fake things. And at this point, I've learned to realize, to accept it or to enjoy it, which is different from just pursuing it unconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is a thing that brings me joy to be correct, if there is a correct to be had.
If there's a correct to be had.
Yes, so whether it just be to myself, and I can be comfortable with that, then it is something I enjoy, to find as much plausible information as I can to support the belief that I have, is more accurate.
Yeah, to support the belief that I have.
Correct.
Right. And there's so many questions and so many ways to dig into this thing. And this right here, this dialogue that we're having, is a dialogue that one should have with self. Really dive into the words that you're talking about. What do you mean when you say frequency? What is a vibration? What is 5D? Hell, what is 4D? What is 3D? What do these words mean? When we have a person that has
it's
the
like
buzzwords,
because you're on the internet and you have to sell it. And I run a marketing group, like an engagement marketing group, that's also for alternative spooky people, to help them sell things. And what the conversation that we end up having a lot about is integrity. Like, I don't want to sell myself. And I'm like, yeah, but it's capitalism, and that's how you sell shit. You know, is that it is the way that the earth is created. And that word, earth, you know, like, what occurs here, and why do things occur the way that they occur here? Why does this work? Because this is the system that is here. This is what works. And like you said, it's hard to find authenticity in that system, because you're like, well, technically I wouldn't want to profit off of this at all if it was only for integrity, right? But you're also like, to create your own existence, I would profit off of this, because that is what would make me the most happy.
Right.
So it's like a slippery slope of like, how do I do this and do that? And I've come to believe that I have what my intention is what's correct.
And why not? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Why not? As long as I'm not posing. And I think you're posing when you're not aware that you're posing.
Yeah. And how do you become aware? I think that this all really boils down to the continual study, the continual gaining of understanding, not just gaining of knowledge, but of understanding. Understand the knowledge that you got. I would say that understanding is way more valuable than knowledge, because you can just look outside at nature if you got the right set of eyes, and you can understand a whole lot just from the animals, from the trees, from cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
But if we don't have understanding, we can't help but be posers, as you say. We can't help it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that's the intention. Because a lot of people that came in here, I'm saying like, this is what we will do. We will rid you of the poserism. And it's like the joke, the gag is there is no ridding of poserism. Like you're always going to be a poser because you never really understand, you know, but all you can do is seek to understand and to seek to be in that way. And yeah, that's pretty cool. The next thing I want to get onto is what type of book, like where do you start as far as these books go? Because again, a lot of people think all this shit is just like spooky, like I'm gonna summon Satan, now I'm a you know
Yeah.
not that I'm laughing at you guys, don't be bad or be mad, I don't really care, but tell us where you began.
Well, it all starts here. I mean, you know, half joking, half serious. That's a really hard book to understand. Yeah. But as far as a book to where you can start to understand what's going on and get the wheels going, I would say there's no better place to start than what my study group is currently on, which is the Kabbalion. There's no better place to start than here. Why? Because it starts to set up a framework of magical thought, of occult thought. The Kabbalion is coming from the Hermetic philosophy, and this is one of the ancient orders that kind of has their shit together, you know, to a large degree. But it breaks it down into 7 Hermetic principles where you can start to understand the relationship between things like vibration and frequency and how it actually affects your day-to-day life. It gets you started. Geez Louise, there's so many other places to go. I guess it's kind of like those RPG games where you can choose what mission. Yeah, and it goes off into a tree of different abilities that unlock and all that other stuff. If you want to look into Kabbalah and stuff, I'd say mystical Kabbalah. If you want to look into like working with spirits and demons and stuff like that, go ahead and get a book called Demons of Magic, right? It's going to get you started with what's called path working with the goetic spirits. It'll show you how to sit down and have an experience with them, as opposed to just collecting sigils and talking about it.
Yeah, and there was another thing I wanted to see. I started with the Key of Solomon when it came there, because I'm thinking I'm always doing stuff backwards. I don't know. I stumble upon a lot of things. I never really had a framework, is why I'm asking you, because I did notice that you have like a whole class schedule that's like a 17. It's like a college course.
It will be soon enough.
Yeah. I was like, yo, this is dope. I actually started to build I'm a music teacher. So I started to take some of your principles for advanced music theory. Because again, advanced music theory has a lot to do with, frequencies, vibrations and stuff like that. And that's how I ended up getting into this stuff. Was, I won't say by accident, but I was not intending to get spooky.
I mean, like you were saying earlier, it literally all connects. Like the deeper you go, you will see how there's no separation. I'm telling you, it all connects. If you stick in this long enough, and this is for everybody, if you stick in this long enough, you're going to see that there's no separation. There's no enemies. There's no they. It all connects.
It's all the same. Yeah. Okay. The next thing. So you said start with the Kabbalion, move on to Demons of Magic for connecting, having the experience. What about your metaphysics? Because that is something that I've been getting more into recently. Because again, I think I approach things more scientifically, I guess, just because I think math makes sense for the most part. Math is still not 100% accurate, especially as far as our understanding of the universe goes. But I guess it's the most accurate thing that we have on this plane.
Mainstream wise, yeah.
Yes.
Jeez Louise. Well, really hate to drop the super gems, but currently what my group has been looking into has a lot to do with the Vedic philosophy. And when I say that it all connects, from what I'm seeing so far, everything that can be considered spiritual and magical and metaphysical and all that stuff is coming up out of these ancient traditions. If you listen to Bobby Hemmett for any length of time, you know that he starts talking about the Rig Veda and a lot of the Sanskrit stuff. But if you start looking into a lot of the Vedic philosophy, you'll see that a lot of what we have now that's called science literally came up out of that system. Everything from particle and wave theory and the Big Bang and the origins of the universe and how we perceive nature. If you've ever heard of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, that comes up out of the Vedic stuff. Everything comes from these ancient places.
Wow, he's like dropping gems. I appreciate that. Hey, if you guys have not signed up for his class yet, I recommend that you do that. I would like to do that as well, jump in the class, because I like homework, to be honest. I really appreciate studying. Like when there's no grade involved, like if I'm not gonna get a fail, then I'm like down to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So and what is the, like, I mean, not that there's an end game, but say, you know, we complete your 17-week class, like now we are masters and we can go and teach the you know the Travisian methods. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah.
You know, it's like, what is your goal? Is your goal to eventually, you know, like start like a movement like for yourself, or is it just to educate?
So this thing has really been evolving. Really, one of my long-term goals is to actually create a school. Shout out to Umar Johnson, right? But to actually create a system where people can go from basic, lost, confused, curious, and just sincerely want to know, where they can go into this place and get personal experiences where they can understand now better than before the process of how the unmanifest works, to understand how the cosmic rays and all that fancy shit relates to you personally, how to make it make sense. And I found the systems to show people how that works. Right now, I'm just really working out the legal shit and how to really put it together. You know what I'm saying? But
totally.
The end goal is to make a chain where someone can start from here and come out with applicable knowledge.
Right. To come out and like, I am all things. No, I'm just kidding. But
or what that actually means, because yeah, that's true, but nobody knows what the fuck that means.
Yeah, that's like a thing that people say. I hear people say it a lot in the chat rooms and stuff like that, and I'm like, I feel like you're making that up. I feel like you're just saying that.
Especially when that's an answer or a response to a deep question, right?
Correct.
If they can't process it, oh well, I'm all things. I'm everything. I'm divine.
And yeah, and that's another thing. I want to move on to the trolls, because, you know, trolls are my favorite topic. I am a troll myself. My whole persona is trolling. Like, I'm trolling the audience.
I love the trolls.
Right.
There's a purpose for that. You know what I'm saying? That really, if you can think about the power in being a real troll, not just a little dickhead, but like a real crafty troll.
A challenger.
You bring that emotion out.
Not a person that is just there to get on your nerves, but a person that challenges you to, like you said, fully. Because in my case, I don't often talk about what my spiritual beliefs are, because I'm still trying to figure them out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out there and say this thing, and then somebody says, hey, I'm going to troll you and ask you the right answer. I mean, like, do you have the right answer? And I'm like, not particularly at the moment, or I'm not sure. I'm still learning. And I think that should be a recognized thing to say that, or actually go back, find the information, and come back and say, like, let me think about it and talk back to you. So how do you deal with people, you know, who are, you know, coming at you in that way?
Yeah. What's up, Damarama? He just dropped something called Heyoka in the chat there. And that's literally the divine clown. Like what you're talking about here, what you're doing, that's literally a divine role. Heyoka, look that up.
I will, thank you.
But to be honest, I haven't really had trolls until recently. Like I've been online doing this for probably about 3 years at this point, I suppose. And yeah, most people have, you know, I've been attracting the right people, I'll say that. But it only has been recently, like the past couple of months, that people are coming up with the bullshit. But I mean, I study psychology. Like that's literally not a problem. I know how to flip that thing around so fast where, you know what I'm saying, you're either going to be watching my videos now as a friend, or you're going to be questioning yourself as far as, well, shit, what am I even talking about here? But the main thing is to not take it personally and not have your emotions moved by someone's words on the internet.
Totally. Yeah, this isn't real.
And to remember that these people are projecting. They're projecting what they feel about themselves.
Absolutely.
I can't get mad at that.
Right now, what are some of the things, like, what is a success? Like, what are the things that you have? I mean, because somebody in here said Travis Magus is a genius, and I agree. But I want to know why they think that. You know, or why, you know, what are some of the things that you have been told about your videos or about your class and your structure and your approach in general? Like, how is your approach different from some of the other guys?
Where I can see that my approach differs from most of the others is that I work really purposefully and intentfully to have as little ego involved with the message as possible. And when I say ego, I mean elements of, look at me, this is who I am, check me out. I like to keep the focus on the actual work that's involved, the actual text or the concepts involved, not so much on me trying to prove to you that I'm intelligent or I know more than you or whatever. I'm more concerned with, if you've come here to get understanding, it's my duty to help you get there as best as possible. That's my focus.
Okay, yeah, I was like, that's what I'm noticing. It's like, it's a lot of like, this is what the book says, or this is the information. This is where you can go find this. That's what I appreciate, because a lot of things like religion in general, or I have thought about creating a cult myself, because I have felt that that is just another form of entertainment, religion in many cases, because like you said, it's a very personal journey. It's a personal, I've said this many times. I said, you worship yourself. You don't worship Jesus. You don't worship God. You worship the version that you made up, which is different from everybody else's, which to me means you worship yourself, because it's only correct to you. So, you know, I've believed, you know, I worship myself. I say that. And she's like, what is your religion? I say self-worship. I worship myself, because that is I'm finding this information for me. I am seeking this information for me. And then afterwards, you know, when somebody asks me, I'm really thinking, well, you should find out for yourself. You know, yes. That's often what I want to tell a person. And I realize after I start talking, they're like, Jim's facts 100. I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, and it's inevitable, but you know, keep it pushing, keep doing you.
Yeah. Again, because I'm like, well, I want you to do you. My intention is to get you to do you and not to do me, right? And so I try to make it more even comical, like you said, divine clown, so you know not to follow me. I'm like, do not follow me. Follow yourself. Right. Again, to me, you're only following yourself.
And then it backfires.
Information you're finding is for your own understanding. So when we're looking at another person and kind of deifying another human being, I'm like, well, you could do the exact same thing to yourself. But I guess there's that wanting to praise something that is outside of self.
Yeah.
That also,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That there's a place for that. Because what I've been seeing also lately in these Vedic traditions, it's an Indian tradition. And, you know, of course, they have gurus. They have the spiritual teacher. Now, in the West, over here, we're so used to praising the pastor and worshiping the vicar of Christ as if that's God. And it's not coming from the right place. It's not coming from a spiritual place. It's coming from a materialistic place. Oh, this man is so perfect. No, the way that they have it is, they use the guru as a symbol to access divinity, the same way a Christian is supposed to use the symbol of Christ to access divinity.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. See, that's where I'm always, you know, kind of, I won't say confused, but, you know, I'm like, well, again, if the goal is to teach you, you know, that you are co-creating with other humans, that we would all essentially be equal as far as what our beliefs are, then when I receive the praise, I'm kind of like, this is confusing.
Yeah.
You know,
you know, take it as if, like I said, there are people who could be using you as that ladder to get to the next step, you know?
Yes, awesome. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. This has been a great chat. I really appreciate you
I
so
wish
much.
these things could go longer, but you know, everything's
I know,
personal.
you know, it's like if I always have so many more ideas because I have like all of these people that I have this week, and we're talking about different spooky things, and because again, like the people of color are so devoid of these kinds of discussions. You know, we have our sexual beliefs, our religious beliefs, our food beliefs. Everything is so like wrapped up in, you know, what the color of your skin is or something like that. Like, oh, I can't do this
Yeah,
because I'm black. I can't do this because I'm Hispanic. Like, that doesn't make
right,
any sense because first of all, that shit's made up. And who made it up?
right. Identity attachment.
Right? And you're like, well, that's not even real. If you're spiritual, then you would know that you are not your body.
Right. There we go. There we go.
Right? So that's, you know, again, I'm trying to get, you know, us out of that, you know, out of that mentality. Like, obviously, physically, we are going to appear this way. And I do enjoy, you know, having these platforms and discussions for people, you know, that have this mech suit, this colored mech suit,
Yeah.
if you will, because it just hits different. It's a little different for sure. Um, you know, it has a little bit of style, a little bit more flavor to it. I dig
You
it.
know, yeah, that's one of the perks, I guess, that come pre-installed.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had unlimited funding, what would you do?
Jeez Louise. I would invest in the brightest minds to dig deeper into specific aspects of spirituality, and then we meet together and continue to get to the bottom of this thing.
Would you even have like, because I would want like some type of facility, you know, like the
Yeah,
Travis
so yeah,
Magus
it would
fucking
have to be like that.
cathedral or something like that, you know?
It would be a place where we could dedicate 100% of our energy to figuring this shit out.
Yes, that
Yeah,
would be
whether
dope.
that's a laboratory of some type, a cosmic, uh, spiritual church out in the fucking desert, whatever it takes, so that we can focus on this thing until we meditate ourselves up out of here. That's what it would be, or
Dope.
transform into Cthulhu and all the rest and destroy everything. I don't care where it leads. I just want to get there.
Right. I have another question for you. If oh, for all again, there's a lot of people in here that are new to you, and I'm new to a lot of people in here. I'm Kelvin Kaoz, by the way, the spookiest boy of them all. Um, if for people that are just getting into this, what type of um, advice do you have for them,
Excellent. Look,
Professor
I would
LVX?
I would say this to anybody, especially those who are beginning. Understand your vocabulary. Don't just sit on assumptions. Don't think you know it. When they say come into this with an empty cup, that's what that means. Come into here as if you don't know anything and reevaluate everything you think you know. If you say vibration and frequency, understand what that means. Don't stop at level one. Dig, 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 dig. That's how you get there. Everything surface level is incorrect. It's illusion, right? If it's widely accepted, you got to dig deeper
Probably
than
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, magic is a science and it is an art. It's not a pseudoscience. It's a science and an art. It's a science because if you dig, 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 you're going to see that there is a system at work that you can replicate and have repeatable results. It's an art because depending on the tools that you use, you can paint a better picture. If I got a fat brush and only 3 colors, I'm limited at what I can paint. But if I got a little thin brush with 80 colors, my detail, the granularity of the detail is going to be better. So it's a science and an art, but it's up to you to find those tools and refine those tools. So understand your vocabulary. That's where it starts.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, everybody. Again, this was Travis Magus.
Yes, mages.
Tell everybody where we can find you on YouTube. Tell everybody how we can discover more about you, because that is what I'm going to do when I get off of this call, is go look at some of your YouTube videos.
Right on. Appreciate you. You can find me if you type in LVX777 anywhere on the internet, because I did a lot of work to make sure that was possible. You can also type in Travis Magus, but I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. What we've been doing here is every Thursday, we've got a group meeting where we discuss and dig into these mysteries. And then every Sunday, we have a specific book that we dig into. Right now, we're digging into the Kabbalion. We just got finished the Mystical Kabbalah, Initiation of Hermetics, Dharana Darshan. But we're going to be doing this for a very long time.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to be tuning in this Thursday. To everyone that is listening from the alternative chaos side, come back this Thursday because November Black, who is in there, November Black, tell everybody who you are or say what's up. She's going to be chatting with me about sexuality. So we're going to be doing something very similar to this, but on BDSM, shibari, open relationships, all of that kind of stuff is what we're going to be doing on Thursday. And that's November Black. She's in here. Follow her. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is the Fresh Prince of Darkness, Kelvin Kaoz. And I want to tell you guys 3 things. Stay hydrated. It's not hot anymore, but you should still be drinking water because we're 70% water. Stay inside because people are still getting sick. You should do a live on DMT. You're right. I should do a live on DMT while on DMT.
Hell yeah.
And lastly, I want you all to stay spooky. That's the most important thing. I will see you guys on Thursday. Thank you very much. Oh, hold on, everybody. I forgot to say, Charlie wants to say hello. Charlie is here, ladies and gentlemen. Charles is here. Say what's up, everybody. Charles. Hello, it's me, Charles. Stay spooky, motherfuckers.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, guys. I will see you next time. Have a great day.
Peace.